Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're just going to do a brief overview of a new funding opportunity that's available. Oh, just signature. So thank you for joining, and we'll go ahead and get right into it. So the funding opportunity is being offered by the Illinois Innovation Network, IIN, which is a collaborative effort between Illinois state public universities to drive innovation and economic growth throughout the state, and it's currently led by the University of Illinois system. So it is considered an internal grant, so just to keep that in mind. IIN is made up of a number of different hubs across the state, and this will be important because this funding opportunity requires that you collaborate with members of at least one other hub aside from your own. So this is the list of the ones that are currently on there, and on the IIN website, they have links to what each university or each hub is interested in and what types of projects that they're known for as well. So this opportunity is called the Sustaining Illinois Seed Grant Opportunity. It's the 2024-25 funding opportunity solicitation. So it includes up to $40,000 per project for proposals that are collaborative and include members from at least two hubs. It's a one-year project timeline, and previously submitted but unfunded projects may be submitted up to 3 times in a 3-year period. So if you've applied for a project in the past and weren't awarded, you can submit the same proposal again with, edits to make it more available or more applicable. The requirements to apply for this are that your proposal aligns with one or more, preferably more, sustaining Illinois elements, which include education and workforce development, economic development, health and wellness, water, food and agriculture, or computing and data. It must also significantly involve at least 2 IIN hubs at PI or co-PI level involvement, and it must represent a seed concept not previously funded by this or other programs. It also has to address equity, diversity, and inclusion. And if your team has received an award from this program or the IIN Social Innovation and Impact Seed Grant Program, you also have to provide a description of previous successes as well. The proposal outline is very simple. It's not a really extensive NOFO. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and it's not one of those, like an NSF proposal that's extensive and crazy to work on. So these are the main elements. All of it is included in more detail, obviously, on the NOFO on the IIN site, the full site, but it's, 5 to 10 pages maximum. So it includes the cover page, the abstract, project description, scope of work. If you've achieved an award from them in the past, you also have to include, the successes of that program, also potential for future work. So if your project, the main goal of this is to be a seed funding project, so you want it to be able to grow over time. So you have to explain your potential for future work, provide team member bios, and then your budget and justification as well. Luckily, this proposal does include a scoring rubric, which I love. It includes the weight of each of those sections of the proposal and shows you how much you should focus on each area to accurately, or to boost your proposal as much as you can. So the proposal sections that are included in the rubric are the project and activities align with IIN principles, the project or concept is in the seed stage, the scope of work, collaboration component, so if you do include one or more other hubs, and then your budget and justification, and then also the potential for future work. Like I said, this is supposed to be a seed grant program, so the potential work is heavily weighted against the other sections. So if you have trouble finding collaborators, IIN does have a collaborator listing that's live on their website right now that includes the contact information, the institution, basic descriptions of projects and the type of collaborators that other people are looking for. You can go on their website. You can click the link, the IIN collaborator listing form, to submit your request for collaborators, but you can also contact us as well, because I know Lucia has an extensive network of potential collaborators on tap as well. So if you would like to, you can post on the listing form, or check that out and see if there's anybody that's already posted that's, in line with your ideas, or you can contact our office and we can help. The program timing is important as well. Um, it was released on the 11th of November, and you have to have it submitted by February 21st. But internally, if you're looking for collaborator requests, if you need help finding them, we hope that you would reach out to us by the 10th of January, and then also provide us the short description of your project and what you want to do by the 10th as well, just to kind of give us an idea of who's going to be applying and if you need help finding collaborators or not. If you'd like us to review your draft, your budget, anything to do with this, we hope that you reach out to us by the 10th of February, just to give us that week ahead of time to look over everything and check it for errors or help you however you need. And then ideally, even though the submission date is the 21st, we'd hope to submit them a couple days early, just so that way we have a little bit of wiggle room if anything goes wrong with the submission system or anything like that. And then we can open it for questions if you have any.
Hey, Sam, sorry I was a couple minutes late and I have three
Okay.
questions.
Sure.
First of all, I know that this session is recorded, but
Mhm.
can you also share the slides, just the slides alone?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have them in box so I can send it right after this is done.
Yeah, that would be great. And
Mhm.
then my second question about the previous award information. Does that specifically refer to the IIN or
Yes.
the award? Okay. And
Yep.
then in terms of the network collaborators, I, I mean, I haven't looked up the list of the collaborators, but are those just by the institution, it's okay, or I have to actually get down to the specific personnel within those institutions in the network? That makes sense?
I mean, so you mean when you're looking for collaborators or
Right,
the collaborator
right,
listing that they have?
exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, what does the contact list look like now? The person and the institution, or just a list
Mhm.
of the institutions within the
Nope.
network?
It includes the people.
Okay.
It includes the individual, their area of expertise, their short project descriptions, and then the types of collaborators that they're looking for as well.
Okay.
So,
So my
mhm.
question is that can we actually go beyond those people already on the list, but still will be
Yes.
someone from the institution within the network?
Yes, yeah, as long as it's from another hub, that's fine. That's just a listing like a Craigslist like help wanted ad, essentially.
Yeah, I just want to double check. Thank you.
Yeah. Hmm.
One item I did want to note about the collaborators is if you are working with someone from within the U of I system, even if they're at Champaign or Chicago, that does count as one hub within the system. So yes, you can include them, but make sure you are also reaching outside the system when looking for collaborators.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you, Carissa.
Absolutely.
Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Uh, can you go back to the hub slide, the list of hub slide?
Yep.
So this proposal, you will require at least, I think you have to kind of collaborate with, you have two hub, right?
Yeah, you have to include at least two hubs.
So here, the UIS is simply under the UIS is not here.
It is. I left that one off because that's who we are.
Oh,
Sorry. That was my
okay,
mistake.
I
Yeah.
see.
Hmm.
Okay, so simply you just kind of pick another, so for example, if I want to submit one proposal, I simply pick from this list of from say, one or two collaborators, right? So since,
Hmm.
yeah, I see.
Yep. But they did stress in the NOFO too that it has to be a significant collaboration, so you have to include the other university member as a co-PI or a PI level.
Okay.
Mhm.
Another question, do they have a specific, for example, a requirement, I mean, the limitation, for example, for NSF, you can have one PI up to four co-PI. For this one, do they have a similar requirement?
I don't believe so. I don't believe that there's any limitation on that. But it's detailed in the full proposal. Let me
Okay.
go ahead and yeah, I will follow up with that in the email that I send out with the hub or with the um slides.
Okay.
Mhm.
I, w-
Great. Thank
I
you.
wanna I wanna make a comment about the collaboration. I have been proposal reviewer for the past 2 years at the IIN, and something that I have noticed is that as they state in the request for proposals, that it is important to show that you're actually collaborating with the other institution and the other team. I remember some of the projects were not funded. It showed, like, for example, let's say that one of the hubs was only involved in, let's say, recruitment of participants and nothing else. Or they will provide access to equipment. So it is, and the scope of work is where you need to show that it's actually true collaboration and that all the tasks or the methods that you are planning show that it's about equal distribution between the two institutions. Because I remember that there were some projects that were really good, but it was obvious it was not a collaboration. In other cases, it was obvious that it was like a last minute addition of a second institution. So just kind of keep in mind that. And also, just as Sam noted before, we're here to help you. We want you to develop a strong and competitive proposal. And if you know now that you plan to submit a proposal, let us know the sooner the sooner the better, because we can help you at different phases of the proposal preparation, and even if you need us to help find a collaborator, we can do that. As Sam indicated, I know people in all the hubs, so it will be perhaps easier for me to reach out to any one of them and say, hey, we're looking for a researcher interested in X. Could you give us some names? And then just kind of, that would kind of may speed up the process, as opposed of to you kind of trying to find a person. So again, just we're here to help. Any phase or any of the different requirements, if you have questions, just let us know.
Oh, excuse me, Lucy, I have a question. For example, I have API I know from the University of Illinois Chicago, and from what you said, I realized that I need to find another collaborator, right? Because
Right.
one collaboration is not enough. So, I mean, this is something for me to think about, and perhaps this PI knows someone from, let's say, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, or maybe another school on the list, so we can brainstorm and figure out. So yeah, this is a good idea, but at least I know someone already from the list you have provided.
Yeah, and I remember that we will have to be to a PI from someone outside the UVI system to count as a second hub.
Okay, and this PI outside of the system, could it be from Wisconsin or not?
No, no, within the IIN hub. In other words, if you have a collaborators at UIC, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't count as a second in hub. So will
Okay,
have to be somebody else from the list here on this slide.
okay, so two collaborators should come from the list. And what do you mean by someone must be from outside?
Outside the UIS system. Outside the UIS system, in other words, if you have a collaborator from Chicago, Champaign,
Mm-hmm.
all of us are the same, considered the same institution because we are U of I.
Yeah, okay. So University of Illinois Chicago, it's the same system. So I need to find someone from, let's say, Southern Illinois
Right.
University, Carbondale, and then
Yep.
it will be okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
So, Lucia, I just have a suggestions. On this slide, can we actually put the asterisk after the U of I Chicago, U of I Chicago Radford, U of I, Urbana Champaign as, that's considered as one University Illinois system hub. So
Yeah, that's a good, a great suggestion. Yeah, we'll clarify that.
yeah, we clarify that. And then SIU School of Medicine, it will actually be considered some a unit from SIU Carbondale, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right? It will be part of the SIU Carbondale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I will double check, but I do believe they consider them separate
Oh,
hubs.
Oh, yeah,
they
that's
consider
right.
separate
That's
hub.
right. That's
So
a good
are
point,
they in the
Carissa.
hub or not in the hub? Are they in the network?
I
Let's
don't
see.
think so.
You don't think
SIUE
so?
and SIUC are considered separate hubs and may partner under the program.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. SIUE and SIUC are considered separate hub. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But then SIU School of Medicine will be considered as under the hub of SIU Carbondale. Does that make sense?
I don't know. Carissa made a good point. We need to check. I don't think so, but we need to check.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah, thank you. This is a lot to process.
The IIN page too that includes all the hubs as well, in this slide too when I send it out.
One more thing I will go over, which is a little cart before the horse, but it is good to know, is even though pre-award is assisting with this, when the funds are set up, if you are awarded, they're technically not put into the financial system as grant funds. They are put in as state funds, which is why it's considered an internal award. So our office post-award would not set up the grant code. The lead members of your unit would need to work with the dean's office to get the CFOP set up so funding can be transferred there. That part does not go through our office.
Okay. Okay. Well, good to know. All right. That should be easier.
Yeah.
Also, what's the ceiling of the award this time?
40,000?
40,000.
40,000
Yep.
for 1 year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Also, another comment, if any of you has submitted and was not successful before, we can work with you. Either, if you want to tweak the project you submitted, because it might have been the case it did not fulfill some of the requirements that the seed funding wanted to pursue, or yes, something with the proposal. So if you want to do that, kind of take into account your previous project, we can do that. However, again, if you want to develop a brand new project, we are happy to help.
So I want to share some of my experience because last year I submitted a proposal to this grant, but not funded. So I got comments from them. The director said we need to be careful when we make a budget because you cannot really make a lot of, allocate a lot of money to personnel. They hope this could be, engage community organizations or demonstrate collaboration. So if the budget plan seems like a lot of money goes to one party, not equally distributed, probably not a good budget plan. This is one thing I learned from last year's experience. also it seems like they also want to engage more stakeholders or like different parties, either two hubs or some community organizations as well. So they don't really, they are not really seeking like a research proposal. This is more about a community engagement proposal. So when we develop a proposal about activities, think about how to engage different community stakeholders as well, maybe. Because the activities I listed in my proposal, it's more like a research, more about data collection, research activities. So that's one comment I got from them. I just want to share with you. I don't really know whether they, change the evaluation standard or not, but this is something I got from last year. Yeah.
Yeah, so Yang, great. Thank you for sharing your
Yeah.
experience. But I think you submitted under the social innovation,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is,
Yeah. Okay.
and I'm glad that you bring that up because it's slightly
Yeah.
different from
Okay.
this
Okay. Yeah.
one. And the social innovation, they want you to have a community partner.
Mm-hmm.
However, in this one, if you
Mm-hmm.
are doing a little bit more of research, it's okay.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Yeah. That's good to
And
know.
then And the important thing is that, okay, so you are doing a little bit of research and you are kind of gathering some preliminary data
Mm-hmm.
because you plan to apply later for a
Mm-hmm.
larger grant somewhere else. So
Mm-hmm.
just kind of it's a slightly different focus for
Mm-hmm.
these two. And it can be confusing because the two of them come from the IIN.
Yeah, from the same IIN. Okay. Yeah, last year I submitted to the social innovation, not the sustainability one. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry
Yes.
if I, sorry for the misleading comments, maybe.
No, you're good. But there is a 30% maximum for personnel and fringe costs.
Yeah.
So while the whole thing cannot go toward personnel, up to 30% can.
Mhm.
And they do not assess indirect costs. That is a 0% on this one.
Mhm.
And that's why kind of if you can make the deadline for an internal review, that's when we can provide a kind of feedback. You know, Carissa is excellent at reviewing budgets and proposing changes, so we can do that because, um, yeah, as you were saying, so Yang, if somebody says that you are proposing the
Research
money,
one. Yeah.
most of the money to go to salaries, right
Mhm.
there, you are over the 30%, and then right there, they're gonna say no.
Yeah.
So, mhm. But then, yeah, thank you for your comments.
Yeah, I made the budget plan like a 30% to go to personnel, then another 30% for students worker, and that's also not okay. Seems like from their comments. So I don't really know. Maybe we need to yeah review it several times. So
Mhm.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Did we have any other questions?
I mean, I want to ask a question. We thank you for giving good ideas about what budgeting decisions are likely produce negative outcomes. I'm going to ask a question. What do you think are going to be good decisions? Allocating money for supplies and reagents, like this is what I usually do because my research is requiring a lot of consumables, or maybe also allocating money to take students out to an international meeting. Do you think the decisions like that would be appropriate, or any other ideas?
I think that this one's focus is on seed funding for funding ideas that are going to grow and like establish programs and establish things like that. So I'm not sure that conferences would be a good project idea for this. Lucia, do you have any input on that?
Yes, All the projects we reviewed, there was none
Yeah.
asking for money to go to conferences.
Okay, so reagents and equipment for the lab would be more appropriate. Do you think this should be put in the budget? Because I'm not familiar with this reward. So when putting budget together, the main focus should be on equipment and reagents. Is it correct?
I mean,
Haven't-
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Nasia. I was just going to say that I think that, I mean, you can include some of that, but I think that the main focus is going to be on growing the program and growing the impact. So materials and things like that, I'm not sure would be an area to focus on like you're talking about.
And also equipment. I have never seen any of
Yeah.
the proposals I have reviewed, never saw anything, one requesting equipment.
I mean, for the research proposal, you usually buy reagents like cell culture reagents, flasks, something you need to do the project.
I think, under the 40,000, that's the limit. But I think if you budget some supplies to buy agent, as long
Yeah.
as you have research, kind of focus on research, in my opinion, I think that's probably okay. But obviously, so for agent, you probably cannot use, for example, use 30,000 to buy agent, and then yeah. But I
Yeah.
think if you have some kind of reasonable budget, in my opinion, I think probably okay, just buy agent. But you still need to kind of focus on the research. This is also focused on the seed money. Potentially, you can develop a much larger scale program. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So exactly. And my understanding is this is $40,000, which is shared among several PIs. So let's say just an imaginary scenario, 4 PIs split $40,000, 10,000 per each. And if this is for biology project to do, the money will go, like some of it will go to institutions and others would go to reagents and supplies. Is it correct? I'm just trying to get an idea of what to think about when putting.
But I think this does not have if I remember right, does not including the indirect cost. You cannot charge indirect cost, right?
Okay, yes, I'm not familiar with indirect cost at all. So I guess this is where my problem is. So what I can put together is what do I need to do? What do I need to think about to do the project? For example, I want to do a specific experiment, and for this experiment, I need to spend this amount of media. I need to order specific cells and things like that. When it comes to indirect cost, I have absolutely no idea what this means, if it makes any sense. Yes. Thank you. I'm sorry.
I think I think you need to start with I know you want to kind of advance your research, but I think you need to start with being clear about how what you're gonna propose is gonna promote sustainability. And from there, as you are developing your budget and your project, you need to keep in mind what are the outcomes that you want. Like what they say, like the cliche, start with the end in mind. So what are the outcomes that if you get funded a year from May of 2025, what are the outcomes that you want to see in 26 that would help you be in a position where you can apply for a larger grant?
Oh,
And all of that taking into account how it supports sustainability. And so, so I think you have to kind of keep in mind, and maybe as you start developing your project, I don't know the specifics of what you have in mind, but it could be that, okay, so maybe you are mentoring students that are gonna, maybe they're juniors or something, you know, you're mentoring students that are gonna help you uh, collect data, or yeah, maybe part of the budget could be reagents, but if you kind of put everything into reagents, I don't think that will be seen favorably, because it will be seen as, okay, this person only wants money for the reagents rather than a more holistic and comprehensive approach to advancing sustainability.
Yeah,
Okay.
and in the evaluation in the scoring rubric too, they place 20% of the scoring is on the ability of these seed funds to fuel the project after the funds are done. So they want to see impact after their funding runs out, and they want to see that it'll continue even after they've stopped funding it. So when you're constructing your project ideas, just keep that in mind because that's a huge part of the weight of the scoring.
Oh, all right. Yeah, thank you very much. This is quite insightful. And yes, I need to think about the big picture, not just the next step of experimental procedure.
I am not seeing anything else in the chat. Did anybody have anything else? Okay. Well then, thank you again for joining us this morning. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're always available to help. And if you need help finding collaborators, just be sure to let us know by early January and we'll do everything we can.